Hey everyone, let's see how we can connect to a Postgres database from Postman. Typically, databases don't offer any form of REST API by default, so you'll need a little bit of extra tooling to get things going. It's important to remember that connecting to and querying a database is dependent on this additional tooling because Postman is geared up to be a REST client, not a database client. For PostgREST, the tool is PostgREST, using which we can quickly generate a REST API on top of our Postgres DB. First off, we'll need to install PostgREST. It can be done with a simple command brew install PostgREST. Upon installation, we could verify whether this has been installed properly. I already have this installed, so I can just run PostgREST --help and I should get an output similar to this. Of course, you need a Postgres database. I already have a Postgres database up and running in a Docker container, and it's a very simple DB with just one table right now, which is company. So we have the DB in place. We now need a configuration file, a conf file. So this file has 3 keys. First one is DB URI. So the format is like this: Postgres :/ the username, which is Postgres in my case, the password, which is my password in my case, and at the host name. For me, it's in the Docker container, and then the port it is exposed at. So it's 54320 for me. And then the name of the database, which is my database for me. So this is how your URI should look like. Next is the DB schema, which is public in my case, this one, and then the DB anon role. So the PostgREST documentation recommends to create a role for the web requests you're about to make. Although I used my username and it worked just fine, my database is just for the demo. So if you have any security concerns, you could very well create this role and specify it in the configuration file. I'm going to go for my username for now. So PostgREST is my username. Next, we need to go to the location of this file, okay, and execute postgrest and the name of your file. So for me, it's test.conf, and postgrest is now running on port 3000, and we are ready to query this database from Postman. So the format to query the database is like there is DB URL. So in my case, it is localhost 3000, and then the DB table. So in my case, it's company. So this is and if I do a GET request on this one, this would be similar to doing a select star from company. So let's use this particular URL from Postman to see if this works. So I'll add a request, and this should be my request URL, and get is fine. So let's do a send, and as you can see, we were able to connect to this DB from Postman. Now, it's also possible to insert a record in a table, and just like we would have an insert statement uh, when doing it from from a DB client, we would be having a JSON with the column names and their values in the body. So let's copy this. So this table has 8 records right now. Let's insert one using Postman. Add a new request. So this is going to be a post request. The URL remains the same, the Postgres URL and then the table name. Body will have the insert JSON, and let's hit send, and yes, the record gets created. And let's see the number of records now. So it's 9. So this is how you can execute get and post statements which are akin to select and insert from a DB client.